Let's talk NFL draft with our friend Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans, right here on 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Will your team get better on Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Some will, some will not. How much better will your team get? Will you land that, bona fide starter, day one dude that changes the game on the offense or defensive side of the football? How many teams will reach for quarterbacks? Most guys that we've talked to, including Mike D, say Cam Ward would have been the 4th or 5th ranked quarterback in last year's draft. So kind of think about that and the guys behind him, depending on how this plays out. Hey, the draft is in Titletown, which I think is cool. Green Bay, Wisconsin, Green Bay Packers. And we've had a ton of kids from this state, including Brett Favre, among others, go to Green Bay and have awesome careers. Mississippi State guys, Elton Jenkins has been up there just bulldozing people on the offensive line for a while. But we've had guys from the Rebs, Dogs, Golden Eagles go up there and do some good things. So we welcome in Mike Detillier on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Show is brought to you by your next video wall for your business or school. Brought to you by Sound and Communications, soundcomav.com. Mike D, how many, in the movies that we watch, you see all this wheeling and dealing in the Costner movie, Draft Day, and Moneyball with Billy Bean. But how many legit things do you think are being seriously considered by teams in the top 5, 10, and so on? 2 weeks out, a week out, a few days out, day of the draft, with the NFL draft, Mike D.
What you try to do now that the draft is extended into deep April is as an organization, you try to run through every scenario you think could potentially happen. I've been told by general managers that we ran through, let's say, 4 dozen different scenarios, and then something out of the ordinary happens that throws everything off. One pick throws everything off. And so I think you try to become prepared for things that will happen before you pick and what happens right after you pick that could affect the next selection. But you're never going to get it right. They're lying to you when they tell you it happened exactly like we thought. Never happens exactly like you thought. But people buy into that. They really do. But, I've been around it for long enough to know that 1 or 2 things out of the ordinary happen, and it throws certain things off, and it could set a particular team off to try to make a deal to move up to get a player or two. And so, Bo, you can run it through and think you know every little detail, but you never really do, because this comes down to a personal opinion. And who's making that call? Is it the general manager? Is it the head coach? And at times, it has been an owner. Oh, yeah. Sometimes they get involved, too. And, we get it on Sports Talk a lot about, if I was there with the Saints, I would tell so-and-so this, or I would tell, Miss Benson that. Yeah, and you'd be unemployed, and you wouldn't tell them that. Not in the manner that, you texting something out, and listen, social media, it has its pluses, but come on, it's almost as though, you grew a little bit of courage to say certain things. You're not going to do that in the business world. If an owner wants a certain player, and the Saints had one early on, their initial owner, he got involved, John Meekum Jr., he got involved in a lot of selections. Tom Benson never did. never really got involved with anything like that. That's why he hired certain people when he hired Jim Finks, when he hired Randy Mueller, Mickey Loomis. He put them in charge of that. He never got involved. But the first one, oh, man, he got involved with basically everything. And it was who he spoke to last kind of put that idea in his head. And there are still John Meekum Jr.'s of the world in the National Football League. Do you really think the coaching staff and their general manager and all pulled the trigger on Anthony Richardson?
Jim Irsay.
It was Jimmy. That's who Irsay wanted, and that's who he got. And who's going to be there to say, Jimmy, just own the team? Yeah, okay. Well, then you can go home and stay there. Jim Finks told me this story when he had in writing with his contract that he had the say on the head coaching job. And they decided to make a coaching change, and their coach was the guy. He wasn't the guy who landed on the moon, but his name was Neil Armstrong, and he was the head coach of the Bears. And Jim decided that we got to move on. He said, I talked to at that it was Papa Bear, George Hallis, running. He owned the team, but he owned the Bears. And he said, I went in there and told him, we got to make a move, and I've got a few names in mind. He said, I gave him the names of the guys that I wanted to talk to. He said, I talked to one of them, and I had plans to talk to the second one the following day, and I get a call late one night, and it's from the Papa Bear himself. And he was, Jim, I've made a decision.
Oh, goodness.
And he said, I've hired the next head coach of the Bears. Finks told me, I told him, well, Mr. Hallis, I have a contract that says that, I'll make that decision. He says, you still got the contract, but I just hired Mike Ditka.
Oh, that's so good.
Well, needless to say, Jim didn't stay too much longer. He stayed one more year, and then he decided he moved on. He actually
went to the Saints.
Went with the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, Cubs.
He was with the Cubs for 1 year, and then he got hired by Tom Benson in the Saints. But you'd have to have heard Jim say it. He was like, well, you still got the contract, Jim, but I hired Ditka.
That's right. And that reminds me, we're visiting with Mike Detillier, Saints NFL insider, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. This is 105.9 The Zone ESPN. I love that Mike's Jim Irsay, Mark Davis, Jerry Jones, Jimmy Haslam. You just don't ever know what the hell you're going to get. You don't know. And then Mike's saying, hey, some owners stay out of it. Some guys just let their general manager, front office, and head coach handle it. And then some owners, whether it's the last second or a month before or whenever, they're always involved. It's amazing.
And listen,
go ahead.
We had a head coach here. He was heavily involved.
Sean
Payton was heavily involved. The other story goes with when Hugh Culverhouse owned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they had the first pick in the draft, and Bo Jackson comes out of Auburn. And basically, Bo has told him, do not pick me. I'm not going to play in Tampa. And he reiterated it over and over and over again. Don't pick me. If you pick me, you better have a deal out there. So Hugh Culverhouse felt he could convince Bo to play for the Bucs. And they have a sit down, and it brings him out to supper, and he tries to convince him. And Bo basically tells him, Mr. Culverhouse, I understand, but I don't want to play for Tampa. And Hugh, because he was so stubborn about things, he picked him. He never put on a uniform for the Buccaneers, sat out the entire season, signed a baseball contract, and basically got picked by the Raiders the next year and played for them. But it goes to show when they, and his daughter, Gay Culverhouse, who passed away about 2 years ago, told me the story. We were all trying to convince my dad, you got to trade away that pick. He is not going to play for us. And you could not convince him. But, you know, at that time, he was one of the most influential owners behind the scenes in the NFL. You weren't going to tell him anything, and if he wanted to do it, he was going to do it. And a lot of that goes on today that as you mentioned, they have people that do not get involved. Tom Benson never got involved. Gail Benson's not going to get involved. And yet other ownerships people want to have their hands because they own the franchise. And now, you used to have to be a multi-millionaire. Now you got to be a multi-billionaire to own an NFL team. So, you've been successful most of the time in other businesses. Why should I not think I was going to be not successful in the sports world? They get involved.
And you see it in other spots, basketball and baseball, those that don't and those that do. All right. Mike D, let's go over a couple of, let's have some fun here. Let's look at the picks. Round one, we're talking to Mike Detillier. All right. So you're on the clock, Mike D. Tennessee Titans. What direction are they going?
I think they're going to pick Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami of Florida. There are a lot of reasons there. You don't have a quarterback today. You have a head coach, and his expertise is in the pitch and catch part of the game. And so that would certainly lead you to believe that. Behind the scenes, you have a new GM from Kansas City. Look what Pat Mahomes did. They had a good quarterback in Alex Smith. They ended up with the greatest player in the game today in Mahomes. And you have ownership that's saying, wait a minute, the last group that came in here told me that Will Levis was going to be my guy. And they're not here anymore. And I got a couple $1 billion of my money and NFL money set into building a new stadium. And I can't sell that stadium seat-wise, suite-wise without having a top quarterback. You find me that guy. It's going to be Cam Ward.
Okay. Cam Ward's off the board for our listeners. Mike D's playing general manager for us on the Out of Bounds show. Coming up at number 2, and they have lived at the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 position, which goes to show you how they've been run my whole life, pretty much. Cleveland Browns coming in at number 2. Who are they going to pick, Mike D?
They do not have a quarterback. And I would be surprised that they wouldn't do this. They're going to pick Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. I know other people have slotted in Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, but who's playing quarterback for the Browns? And you can see the thing with Watson has not worked out for them. They set the standard with the guaranteed money for Deshaun, and due to who knows what, and injuries are part of it, but he's never been the same guy once he left that football field with the Texans, where he was a good player.
Heck yeah.
People exaggerate, he wasn't that good. Then you're not watching football.
Are you kidding me?
He was a very good NFL player.
And a great college player. Argue one of the top 2 or 3 at Clemson ever. Good grief.
And so I think they go with Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of heat too from ownership that said, okay, you guys got me to pay Myles Garrett. Now I did what I had to do. You go find me a quarterback. And okay. I think Jimmy Haslam is going to say, Shedeur Sanders, He's the guy. Y'all go pick him.
All right, Mike D is on the clock. WWL Radio TV New Orleans, Saints NFL insider. He's been involved in the draft for 35 years. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Jameis Winston is now at the Giants. Dayball's hanging on by a thread. The Mara family has to be just totally mad at themselves and everything else the last 15 years. So coming up with the third pick in the NFL draft from Titletown, what do the Giants do, Mike D?
I would go after Travis Hunter. If the scenario breaks out this way, that you have the two quarterbacks go, I'm going to pick Travis, who gives me a big play athlete at wide receiver and an immediate starter at corner. And so I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Travis Hunter from the University of Colorado. And I know you wanted the quarterback last year. How strong of a deal they tried to make for Jaden, I'm not real sure. But you pick Malik Neighbors. That was a home run hit. I think Travis Hunter would be another home run hit for the new head coach in 2026.
Okay. All right. So I tend to agree with they're not going to be able to say no to the quarterbacks, even though this isn't a strong class. Because when you don't have one, you damn sure don't have a shot. So Titans, Cam Ward, and the Browns, Shador, and the Giants, who just grabbed Jameis Winston. And Jameis is not bad. People beat up on him, but the dude, he may not be great, but he can play. And then the Giants go with Travis Hunter. As far as Robert Kraft and where they are today, so Vrabel to me is a really good coach, Mike D, but you know more than we do. I actually thought he did a hell of a job with the Titans. I mean, they had a solid QB. They had some good pieces in the line of scrimmage. Derrick Henry in his prime, although he still looks good. Traded away A.J. Brown. Can't figure that out. But do you think, does Kraft, now that Belichick is gone, try to, and his son, do they try to do more in the football ops side, or are they going to let Vrabel and the GM roll? How do you see that, Mike D?
They will always have a say. I've heard interviews with Robert Kraft make comments that, hey, I own the team, I should have some say. And he will always have some say with that organization. But if it plays out in this where the two quarterbacks and Travis goes, man, I would run to that podium with Abdul Carter because he would be the ideal fit for Mike Vrabel. Tough, hard-nosed coach. I think he is underrated for what he did with the Titans. And, man, you're going to get everything out of every player with him because he is one of these guys that if a player questions, why are you asking me to do this? He said, you know why I'm asking you? Because I got asked to do it and I did it.
That's right.
I played in the NFL. I'm not like most of these coaches who never played. I played. And if the scenario would work out, I think they would run to the table with Abdul Carter, who would give them an edge presence. And I could move him around because I think he could be the ultimate Joker-type player in the NFL where I put him left, I put him right. Sometimes, man, I sort of cock him right over the top of the center, and I try to get a lot of pressure put on people. Now, they need help at receiver, and so, that's just a thought, but I think it's obvious you go with Abdul Carter, and I agree with you totally. I think Mike Vrabel is a one hell of a coach in this league.
Me too. And I think he could get this thing rolling again with the Patriots. All right, we're going to leave it there because we've still got a few weeks to get into Green Bay and what's going to happen in Green Bay and what could play out here. The Saints, by the way, are real quick. I got like 2 minutes, Mike D. Mel Kiper threw out Jackson Dart to the Saints. What was your reaction to that?
That's not happening. How can a guy that wasn't even on Mel's list 2 weeks earlier as a first rounder be the ninth pick in the draft? How many games got played?
0.
Okay. And listen, I know Mel from way back. And, that's his opinion, but I don't see how you get a player that you didn't have as a first-round pick 2 weeks earlier, and you got him as the ninth pick in the draft? Hey, come on. But, again, when you do things television-wise, there's also cause and effect. He got a lot of people talking with that pick. He got a lot of people talking with it. I have told you, along with everybody else, I think from maybe mid-season, Jackson Dart's going in round 1. Exactly where he's going is the big question for me. I've always felt he would go probably in that range of 17 to 24 in round 1. I never thought he'd go at the ninth overall pick in the draft. So I understand why Mel did it. He's looking for a player that fits and the need. But again, that's a pretty big leap when you don't have him in round 1 at all to the ninth overall pick in the draft. In 2 weeks, and you ain't played one damn game.
I love it.
But he got tongues a wagging with that pick. And I agree with him. Jackson will go in round 1. But I felt that back in October of last year. So it's not a surprise to me. It is a league in where either you have one or you're looking for one. And somebody's going to scratch that itch in round 1 with Jackson Dart.
We'll leave it there. Mike Detillier, Saints NFL Insider, on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Mike D, have a great week, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
At Mike Detillier on Twitter, and he's got Cam Ward off the board to the Titans, Shedeur Sanders off the board to the Cleveland Browns, and Travis Hunter to the New York Giants now that the Giants picked up Jameis Winston, Jackson Meadows' favorite quarterback. Mr. Crablegs. That guy was so funny during the Super Bowl. I mean, he's figured out new media too. We talk about some of these guys. His person, I mean, he's out there riding a bike. What was he, delivering food? I mean, the guy, he'll go out and talk to anybody. I mean, Jameis Winston and his personality is awesome. He just loves life. Kind of like you.
Jameis and I have, we have a lot in common.
I wonder if y'all wear the same jackets and
Arm
shirts.
strength, accuracy. Well, not accuracy. I'm way more accurate.
Yeah, kind of like 8 of 10 from the free throw line.
That's just easy money.
Never happening. Never, ever happening.
Won't lift a foot.
Yeah.
They got their ass kicked last year. They're soft as cotton.
We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Hour number 3 coming up at the Out of Bounds Show. Brought to you by Spring Street Cigars in Oxford and Starkville. We'll have a new Spring Street Cigars in Jackson in the building where the Rogue Men's Store and Nukes is located in about a month to 6 weeks.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m., and this ain't no kiddie show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
All aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We're happy to, excited to be partnering with Make-A-Wish Mississippi. Make-A-Wish Mississippi's mission is to create life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. And they seek to bring every eligible child's wish to life because every child deserves a childhood. Research shows children who have wishes granted can build the physical and emotional strength. Last year, Make-A-Wish Mississippi granted 109 transformative wishes to critically ill children across the state. And their work is far from done at Make-A-Wish Mississippi. 115 kids are currently in their pipeline waiting on their one true wish. So the website, ms.wish.org, ms.wish.org, Make-A-Wish Mississippi, seeks to bring every eligible child's wish to life because every child deserves a childhood. Good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. I thought it was interesting that, we're now going to see basketball coaches getting hired from these trees, Jackson, where like a Nate Oates is having so much success and his guy gets a mid-major job for a year or two, and then boom, he can parlay that into another job. I don't know what's going to happen with Stephen Pearl under Bruce Pearl. He sometimes nepotism works, sometimes it doesn't. With Stephen Pearl, his reputation is really, really good. And so you have to ask yourself how much longer he stays at all. I'm sure he's well compensated. Obviously, Bruce is making like $9 million or something, which is insane at a football school. And it's crazy that the state of Alabama is better in basketball than football. We know that there's no other, not even Ohio, obviously not Texas or Georgia. They may be bigger, but there is no state that is driven by football more than the state of Alabama. And Bear Bryant, Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, Nick Saban, and many, many, many more. But Bama is football. It's like when I talk to my friends of Ryan Fowler, 109 The Game, Tuscaloosa, 99.9% football. In fact, this week he will dabble. He'll just he'll put his toe in the water, mention that Bama's in the Sweet 16, boom, he'll be right back into spring practice or the portal when it opens up here soon for football or the next big recruiting weekend for the 2026 class. Mick Gillespie out of Mobile, same thing. Cover Crimson. He's like, I really can't cover it unless maybe Sweet 16, possibly Elite 8-ish. Even then, probably 80-20 football, basketball, 90-10. But right now they have Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates. That is ridiculous. Greg Byrne made a hell of a hire. I don't remember who it was. Jay Jacobs, maybe, a while back as an AD at Auburn, made the hire for Bruce Pearl. I think that sounds right. He went on to become like a deputy AD at Florida under Strickland. I don't know if he's still there or what. I saw him when he was in the press. Is he still there?
Director of External Affairs.
Okay. Those are good gigs, especially at huge athletic departments. I'm pretty sure Jay Jacobs hired Bruce Pearl, but Greg, those are two of the best coaches in college basketball. Either team could win it all this year. So, who knew that Bama would flip the script? And I know they've had some good run. I mean, Wimp Sanderson he ran SEC basketball in the 80s. He went to like 6 Sweet 16s, couldn't get to the Elite Eight or Final Four. Still unbelievable, because that was in between Bear Bryant and Gene Stallings. So them getting their act together, they went through Ray Perkins and Bill Curry, and not everybody is for that job. But right now, Nate Oates, top 10 coach in the country, Bruce Pearl, top 10 coach in the country, and they've got enough money. They've obviously found enough alums over there to buy rosters, but also feed the football factory that is both Alabama and Auburn. The Dancing Rabbit Golf text line is 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And the Key City beer. Try any of the Key City beers. They're fabulous. Mi Vida should be rolling out in like April or May. It'll be out full time. It will be one of their staple signature beers, not seasonal. Key City Mi Vida is their Mexican lager, and it is delicious. Mississippi Queen, among others, Mississippi. Key City beer, look for it out of Vicksburg. Great beer. The caller line, 601-707-3750. Can you believe that the state of Alabama is rolling like they are in hoops? I can.
They don't care, though.
Well, no, they have started to pack. So they've got a group that likes to go to the games. Right. You're right. They're sidewalk. They're typical fans of Alabama and Auburn football, or Auburn fans are not going to ever be gung ho. They've got groups that are their actually degreed alums from the that like to go to the games. When I went to Auburn's arena in January, when they beat the brakes off of Mississippi State, it was packed. Yeah. People, I mean, they were just hanging on you. And of course, I've mentioned they put the students down right on the court, which is so smart. And about, let's see, 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 of the floor seating, roughly, is students down at Auburn. Maybe 25-30% is still alums. But they're packing both arenas. We have 7 teams, including Ole Miss, in the Sweet 16. We have 2 teams that are playing each other. That's how many teams we have in it, Kentucky and Tennessee. We have some first-year guys like Mark Pope, and they're not first-year coaches in that Mark Pope was at BYU and Cal's been several different places. But first year at Kentucky, Mark Pope, Sweet 16. First year at Arkansas, John Calipari at Arkansas. At Arkansas, Sweet 16. So Beard, year 2, goes to the Sweet 16. Oates was in the Final Four last year. Is this his 3rd Sweet 16 in a row, you told me?
That's correct.
Yeah. Bruce got bounced last year, but has had some success in the tournament. He's in. Todd Golden's in. Did I miss anybody? I think I went through the whole. Rick Barnes, I just mentioned Tennessee's playing Kentucky. So Rick Barnes is doing some really good things there. That'll be a battle. Kentucky and Tennessee. It's going to be exciting. Thursday night and Friday night is the Sweet 16. Saturday and Sunday is the Elite Eight. And this thing's getting serious here in the state of Mississippi for Ole Miss and Beard. No, we're good. Lunch today brought to you by Aplos in the Renaissance, Aplos in Highland Village. I was there on Sunday. I picked up a pizza for my parents. They loved it. I went with the Aplos Supreme. Aplos Supreme. How about this weather and hanging out in the green space and the outside areas at Aplos in Jackson and Aplos in Ridgeland? See you in a minute. I think it is a good question. Like, what coaching tree is going to become the, like you had Krzyzewski and Dean Smith, right? And a lot of guys got hired from Mike Krzyzewski's tree that weren't worth a damn. Well, I mean, Dean Smith didn't step down until what, September before the season so that he could get Guthridge in? And that didn't work out. Now, that was before the media would jump on you. Nobody, well, it was like 1997, and had Stackhouse and Wallace just left, or did Guthridge get them for one more year? I can't remember. Did they, Luke? Okay. And now today, when you do that, we've had some coaches do that. You know, people go crazy to name their number one, to put the AD in a bad situation where you have to name your number one assistant. Of course, there's not as many guys hanging out for 22, 25, 27 years, right, anymore. One, these guys can get rich in 8 to 10. And two, I guess they pop around a little bit. Look, here's something to think about, and I didn't realize this till last week, when Auburn tweeted this out. Bruce Pearl is 65 years old. I did not realize that. And I tweeted, I had no idea that Bruce was 65 years old. And that's not old. I mean, if you're walking and taking care of yourself and so on. But now Bruce doesn't look that great. He doesn't look terrible. He doesn't look great. He kind of looks like, he does the face tan at night, and then he's got a little bit of a belly, but I mean, God, he dresses like crap on the sideline. I mean, that untucked golf shirt and or polo, whatever you want to call it. I'll let Luke say whatever it is. What is the difference this day and age? But and like I just had on joggers and I switched out of them. I don't like the joggers on the sideline. I mean, let's at least wear some kind of 4 or 5 pocket pant, because they're all cool this day and age. I mean, you've got all these pants that are cool, fit, kind of help you move around. But joggers and a polo shirt. But hell, when you're Bruce Pearl and you're making $9 million a year at Auburn, you can do what you want. I didn't know he was 65 though.
No idea he was that old.
No.
And I don't know what I thought. I mean, he was.
It's weird that he's only 7 years behind Patino to me.
That's even more. Wow. I don't know what I thought he was, but it wasn't 60
It
plus.
just wasn't. And I know, Bruce, some of these guys it takes more time to ride the buses of low, mid-major, or mid-major programs before they get their shot. And Bruce obviously was at UW, Wisconsin, and then, or Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And then got the Tennessee job and did well, and then sat out. Was it 2 years? It was 3. Did some TV, all that, shook some hands, and then got the Auburn job, and the rest is history. And give Jay Jacobs credit. I mean, he went and hired him, I mean, it was a barbecue sandwich and like a Diet Coke on his back porch that he lied about, right? He cooked out barbecue on his grill at his house. The total cost of the 3 recruits that were there, probably 50. Now, I'm not saying they weren't giving them cash over the weekend to get them there, but I mean, the whole barbecue sandwich deal and pork tenderloins probably cost $30 to $50, whatever that was 15 years ago.
So weak.
All right. Anyway, he's at Auburn. They know how to throw down and get players. What's amazing to me is that Auburn and Bama have carved out enough money to go spend $7 million plus on their rosters. Mississippi State and Ole Miss are going to spend $6 to $8 million in basketball this coming year. They both spent around $4 million this year. Now the going rate is 6 to 7. That doesn't count under the table money, by the way. This is called a co-op.
Yeah.
You still have money you have to get to the player handler immediately, and then the structured payments that are legal that you run through the initiative or the collect. Like, Charlie Winfield and Walker Jones are running payments to Josh Hubbard, Padula, Dia, and Cam Matthews, right? That's several $100,000 per player, which is totally legal. But the fact that Auburn and Bama have been able to find enough alums that are committed to that. Of course, now you can use revenue share too. So you can use alums that are gung-ho plus revenue share to fund your football roster, to fund your basketball roster, baseball roster, and whatever you're doing. But it is back to the coaching tree. Nate Oates, Bruce Pearl. We were the first one to mention Mark Adams because we know people in the game that Chris Beard brought back onto his staff this year. You notice last year Beard was ticked that they totally unraveled and didn't play well down the stretch. And he talked about it at the Howell Gillum Award. He was mad as hell. He goes out and gets Mark Adams, who had been with him when he left Texas Tech, took the Texas Tech job. Adams would eventually get let go, went as an assistant coach somewhere else, and then he's the defensive guru, one of the top ones in the college basketball. But as far as coaching trees, obviously Duke's always going to be, and hey, I give Shire credit. He's been able to handle that thing. Things look pretty good, right? But when you look at Danny Hurley, Nate Oates, Bruce Pearl, where are these assistant coaches? Nate Oates' guy just got hired at South Florida. So he wins one more time there.
Oh, boy.
You're going to see him in the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, or the Big 10. Now, Stephen Pearl, I'll be interested to see what happens there. He is really, really well thought of in the game. Some people thought, Bruce just hiring his son type deal. No, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good. And as far as scouting, he's considered one of the best.
Really?
Yes, game-to-game scouting, Stephen Pearl is considered one of the best in the business, like a freak.
I guess I'll send him my tape.
Well, you got to.
I mean, he could at least show it to other players.
Luke Abney's in the house with the Rogue, and he's not quite digging what Jackson's this. Where did you get that jacket again that you're wearing, Jackson?
Nike from somewhere.
Okay. And is it a skateboarding jacket?
It's a soccer goalie jacket.
Soccer goalie jacket. Yeah, I could see that.
Breathes very nicely. You can wear it out there.
It
on the
looks like
grass.
something that got put together in a driveway.
Yeah.
Maybe in 1977 with people on LSD.
That's where I got put together.
Yeah. But you've been sporting it.
I love the jacket.
You do.
It is one of my favorites. It's the best jacket, especially for in here. It's light.
Yeah.
It's just simple. Breathes. And, that's what we're about, breathing.
So Luke sent me a coach's, let me get this right. Luke sent me let's see where it was. A lot of people text me during the show.
I love that.
All right, here it is. Rogue best dressed. Well, they do. I can't get to even 10% of them, but just because we're kind of moving through this thing. But this is a best dressed coaches from the Rogue. I like this. Hubert Davis is on here. Ooh, James Jones from Yale. He beat Bruce Pearl last year, and they asked him why he's been at Yale for 26 years. He was like, nobody's come and offered me. Can you believe that? No, he said, no one has offered me a better job than the job that I have here. How about that?
He's in the tournament all the time.
He
wins games in the tournament.
They asked him, I guess last week, why he's still at Yale 26 years later.
Is that an indictment on the 80s around the country?
Could be because they're going to hire a Duke assistant
Right.
over a guy from Yale. Nate Oates dresses really well. He does. We got some other guys here. Ooh, Dennis Gates. He's a smooth dresser from Missouri. All right, we're live in the Bank Plus studio. Luke Abney with the Rogue joining us just to talk fashion and sports and fun stuff. Coming up next on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. I can't believe it. But Jackson Meadows was telling me to hurry up. That's incredible, considering he's never on time. But he does get here at 6:53 in the morning, which is perfect for a 7 o'clock start. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. March Madness brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Enjoy an ice-cold Michelob Ultra this afternoon at your favorite spot or at the house. Good weather today. I just walked outside. Luke Abney, good morning. How are you?
It's a beautiful day to be here, Bo. With you, and Jackson is the cherry on top of the ice cream.
Isn't he? Everything about him.
Especially that sweater, the jacket, or whatever that is.
The jacket, everything about him.
Wait till I throw these shades on this. Somebody left
Yeah, somebody left those shades. We had a party in here Friday.
Yeah. Styling and profiling.
I can't remember who gave them to me.
I'm with it.
But they're so good.
I mean, these things are absolutely perfect.
Yeah, let me get a pic. I think Luke has got the right idea.
I would like to know who did this and to thank them.
Gosh.
My mother always taught me to do a handwritten thank you note, so I'd like to write him one.
I don't remember. We had like 20-something guys in here on Friday watching hoops, and I don't remember who left
Whoever
those
left
for you.
those was going straight to the softball batting cage. Probably somewhere around 42, trying to relive the glory days.
No doubt about that. I'm not going to do that. But
you don't want to see me in a
But
cage.
I think they're awesome. They work for you.
And they work for the
and
jacket.
they're really cool. And you can pull them off.
And there is a color in the jacket that is in those shades. So you are pulling. I mean, you are.
I'm gonna match.
Are we on video right now?
Of course.
All right. So if you'll go to YouTube, you can see this insane outfit that Jackson has on. I don't even it looks like something in Tron. Your glasses.
It's fair.
Or, one of the sci-fi movies. But if you want to go to YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports, you'll be able to see Jackson. We're on for the next 21 minutes. So YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports, and check out Jackson's sunglasses.
Every single A and AA under 13 youth baseball team, everybody has those sunglasses on this weekend. All weekend.
That is correct.
Parents do, coaches do, parents do. But
That's so right.
It's a statement somewhere.
That's a great point. 10, 12, 13-year-olds
absolutely
have those type sunglasses on. Did you see what kind they are?
They are Jaeger.
Okay.
They're Jaeger.
I don't know where that's from.
I have no idea.
Oh!
Jaeger.
I think maybe Joel
from
Elijah Craig.
That would make sense.
He brought us some old-fashioned stuff for the party.
Oh, Joel's a good guy.
Elijah Craig has their own old-fashioned liquid.
Love that.
And Luke, so I mean, it takes you 2 seconds instead of having to have multiple ingredients. And Joel stopped by, and I think that's what those are Jaeger, like shots of Jaeger.
That's correct.
I haven't had Jaeger since 1995.
What? You're missing out, my
Thank
guy.
God.
Thank goodness I've
kidding
matured
me?
from that.
And,
Come on.
I've only had one shot of Fireball in my life, and that was enough. But I did see something on our prep this morning about Fireball offering 90-year-olds free Fireball.
No, that's
I don't know
lit.
if we're going to get into that right now, though.
Played in a member guest golf tournament in Oklahoma this past year.
Yeah.
And the group and the other group with us, every time we made a birdie,
Took a shot of
fireball shots
Love
after
it.
the hole.
That's partying.
Oh, man. Did you do that?
Yeah, I mean,
You had to.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking
You couldn't
about.
tee off the next hole until you knocked out the fireball shot.
Well, Luke Abney with the Rogue on the Out of Bounds show. Fireball is giving out lifetime supplies of whiskey.
That's incredible.
But you have to be 90 years old. So according to this article, Food and Wine, Fireball is giving away lifetime supplies of whiskey. And what is this? If your grandma actually uses this, she'll be the hippest old lady in the world, or just the drunkest. Fireball whiskey giving out lifetime supplies of this stuff. Here's the wrinkle. To win, you have to be at least 90 years old. They claim they're doing it because Fireball is oddly popular with older demographics. Really? I had no idea.
No clue.
Senior citizens love Fireball. And who are we to argue with their years of wisdom? All right.
Oh, I'm with that. But...
Jackson, have you ever had Malibu rum?
Oh,
I have.
Okay, so one thing you need to try is Malibu and lemonade.
That actually sounds pretty refreshing.
That's refreshing, but I'd rather do Tito's.
But it's called a La Rumba.
A La Rumba.
A La Rumba. So
Really?
just,
I like that.
just go ask for a La Rumba.
Have you had one?
A couple.
I don't see you as a Malibu rum and lemonade guy. I'm proud of you.
Absolutely. I mean, before all the seltzers and all that stuff, I mean,
Right.
what'd you have on the golf course? I mean, you had vodka, you had Malibu rum,
Right.
You had
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, do you know what La Rumba means?
No.
Party.
There you go.
Thank you.
What do you know?
There you go. All right, Luke Abney with the Rogue on the Out of Bounds show. Don't y'all have a party this week at the Rogue?
Thursday, we've kind of had a fun time kicking off our store with the new look and all.
And it looks great.
Thank you. And Christmas was fun. So we're having our first event starting Thursday, Jack Victor Trunk Show with Martin Dingman, Hagen shirts as well. Kind of everybody to come look at the new store, new stuff for spring. So all kinds of discounts and promotions going on, but mainly just want to get people in to see how cool the store looks with all the new merchandise and, just a fun few days. How about that?
So it's Thursday. Is it all day?
All day, 10 to 5, 10 to 6, excuse me.
Okay. For our listeners, Luke and the team moved to the front of the Rogue building. Right when you walk in the door, the Rogue is there. And it's really cool. You lightened it up.
Thank you.
It's open space. It looks great. All the cool stuff y'all have catches your eye, within the first 10 seconds you're in.
You can see it now with the new light.
The new lighting's awesome.
Helps.
And you love it.
Yes.
Your team loves it.
It was a group effort. We had a good time. Well, maybe not a good time doing it. We were enjoying where we are now. How about that?
And you got in before Christmas, and now you're doing a big party.
Right.
Celebrate. All right. So come see the newly renovated and moved up into the building.
Right.
Rogue Men's Store.
Rogue Men's Store. And, get your closet upgraded for spring. Updated, upgraded, however you want to
I
phrase
actually
it.
need to update. I got some things coming up. I'm going to see our friend John Higgins tonight in Boonville, Mississippi at the Zeno Davidoff party.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Should I donate some things to help y'all up the? Okay, all right. I'll take that as a no.
Donate some things.
We'd love for you to come by.
Oh, yeah. I mean, me too.
It's okay if you get a button down and upgrade a little bit.
I don't know the last time I bought a button down. It's been 10, 15 years.
We were talking about Jack Victor.
Yes.
And you've sold a lot of Jack Victor sport coats.
They've been a great partner and vendor for ours for over 30 years.
Well, they do amazing stuff.
Yes.
Really
Yes,
good
they do.
looking. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it with you. You can dress it down or up this
Correct.
day and age, which is super cool. Do you have on a Jack Victor coat?
It is.
Okay.
It's a cool Jack Victor coat. I mean, everything I got on is coming from the trunk show this on Thursday with the Dingman shoes and the Jack Victor coat and the Hagen shirt. But I mean, everything I have on, you can wear fairly casual to any party, or I can, make it look pretty cool at night if I needed to. But today's fashion is fun. Not everybody is getting as dressed up as formal as they used to probably 20 years ago. But it allows you some freedom to kind of have some fun as Jackson is showing us his freedom and fun.
Right.
And that's fine. That's his expression. We'll discuss off air what that expression is.
Yeah, I still don't know.
But we hope that people come in and enjoy what they have, what we have, and that way they can wear it to whatever event it may be, or just feel good about themselves that day.
Well,
because when you feel good, you look good, and you look good, you feel good.
You're damn right. And you got wedding parties.
That's right.
Left and right. Not just weddings. You got wedding parties.
Correct. Every wedding usually has 4 parties.
Right.
I'm learning that.
So
right.
the runway up into the wedding is a bunch of parties.
Correct.
And then you have weddings.
Right. And then you
up.
got Easter coming up, and you got the Derby.
Graduation.
And now people are doing more things with the Derby. There are other events that lead up to the Derby.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Which is great. And you're seeing more people around the area do kind of fun events, more charities and do kind of fun events. And so it's, easy to put on a cool coat and a pair of white, 5 pockets or something.
All right. So let's get into that. The coaches. You mentioned that Jack Victor has been doing a lot of the television broadcasters.
Yes. So when you see that, at the end of the broadcast, you see clothing provided by something,
Right.
CBS Sports has been a part of, or Jack Victor's been a part of CBS Sports for forever. So every Navy blazer you see is a Jack Victor Navy blazer, and they do a lot of other things as well. But they do that. They used to do Fox. Bill O'Reilly was a big deal with Fox. They still do a lot of things at Fox as well, but they do. They have a really good person at Jack Victor, Nelson Suriel, who's the president, who's really well connected in that arena, and so he gets the product placed in the right places.
Smart.
Yes, really smart.
Okay.
Really smart.
All right, let's talk about some of the coaches.
Yeah. So we had a fun time putting this together. It's called the best dressed coaches that we've seen. And you have to kind of eliminate a lot of things. You can look cool in a quarter zip and some joggers and a cool pair of, Air Force Ones or J's. But, if you think about, when you and I were growing up, John Thompson had the ugliest coat on all the time. He never could tie a tie. But it was the same look. Louis Carnesecca had the sweater.
Yeah.
Bobby
the
Crimmins.
ugly Argyle sweater.
Bobby Crimmins had a same suit on every time, and he never had the tie tied. He'd just take the tie off and hang it on the door handle and then put the tie back on and then walk out.
I remember
and,
that.
And every game was the same look. But everybody had a look.
Okay, you know who changed the game? Rick Pitino.
He's the godfather. Absolutely. He's our number one seed in the coaches bracket. It's going to be hard to knock him off, but again, when we do this
Let
poll,
me look at this again.
when we do this poll online, it's going to be, obviously we're going to send it out. We're going to vote on it. Everybody's going to vote on it.
I love this.
And we're going to put some pictures up of the coaches when we do the deal. But Jay Wright. Jay Wright was the sharpest guy there was.
Jay Wright.
Yeah, he would win this year if he was
number one.
But he's on CBS Sports right now doing commentary. But you got Cal. So now you've had a lot of guys, and Nate Oates is a great person to kind of feature along with Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Nate never really wore a suit when he was at Buffalo. When he got to Bama, he started wearing more coats, kind of the Wimp Sanderson, praise to Wimp about all the Madras coats he wore.
Sure.
And the same thing for Cal. Cal was a suit and tie guy at Kentucky. And when he left there and went to Arkansas, of course, now he wears all, I guess it would be whatever color red that is from Arkansas. All his coats have some kind of element of red in it. And Nate's doing the same thing with Bama and his sport coats and the plaid and the Madras that he does. So you got something like that. And Hubert Davis always wears a cool Carolina blue, has some kind of a blue.
Hubert is well dressed.
Yeah, and always, the pants are always perfect. He's got the right J's on that goes back with everything. But then you got somebody like Danny Hurley, who's won, 2 natties in a row. Navy blazer, cool shirt, dress pants, leather sole shoes, always brown.
Yeah, he's not wearing tennis shoes.
Nope. No.
Or
no
Jordans or whatever.
And we talked about the guy at Yale. Who's
James Jones.
James, at Yale. He looks like he walked out of a financial meeting on
No
Wall
doubt.
Street.
Yeah, you're right.
Suit looks perfect. Same for Kevin Willard at Maryland. But
Yeah.
of course, Willard is on the Patino tree, so it kind of
That's right. They were together all the way back at.
Yep, it falls down from there. And then who else on? Oh, Dennis Gates.
He looks good.
Yeah, Dennis Gates is
that guy's
he
got-
walks into his closet. He's got 14 black suits. He's got 14 white shirts. He's got 14 gold ties. Keeps it simple.
Boom.
But he has a uniform, and you recognize him on the sideline.
That's right.
You look at Jans, you look at Beard. They wear a quarter zip. Sometimes a little different than what the staff wears.
Jans will go sport coat once or twice a year. He told me last year over wine that we were.
Sure.
He said my staff wants me to wear. Here's what's happened: the staffs don't want to dress up.
Right. Correct.
And I think Chris needs to wear the Nate. When he goes with the Nate Oates look, I think it's a good look. And just tell your staff they can wear the quarter zip with the cool pants.
So you remember years ago, Rod Barnes, God bless him, he wore gray pants and white button down, arms out to here, tie was never in the right place.
Right.
And then Coach Brent would walk down the sideline and had the just great looking suit.
Yeah.
And Wayne was always out dressing everybody on the sidelines, but he was the second guy in command or third guy in command.
AK looked good in a suit.
AK looked good. But I think the deal about it also brands the team when everybody has the same quarter zip on.
Fair
All the
enough.
same looks the same. Nike's probably paying them a lot of money to do it to look like that, and that's fine. But there again, it gives a good team look as well. But you remember years ago, Joseph Aboud would sponsor a few coaches in the NFL.
That was a great company.
Jack Del Rio would wear, cool coat, tie on the sidelines, and then the NFL fined them because they were not wearing the logo wear that all coaches had to wear on the sideline.
Wow.
So they were, the old Tom Landry look. You walk out and
Absolutely.
be dressed out. A Bood would sponsor about 2 or 3 coaches, but they would get fined every week for wearing it because it was not NFL wear.
I did not know that.
Yes. So that's why everybody now looks like a.
Yeah. Sean got so, they were wearing like warm-ups.
Yeah, tracksuits, baby.
Yeah.
Although McDaniel can pull it off at Miami.
Yeah, when he's got
when he pulls
he's got
the
the pants up to his those
he's
are
he's got knickers on.
If
All
he,
right, well,
as long as he wears the
let's
right
talk
shoes.
about the 5-pocket, 4-pocket pants, whatever.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so give me your top 3 pants because I love those. They're for guys. You can dress them up, dress them down.
Right.
They're comfortable.
Yep.
You can jump in the car and drive for 3 hours, and they're comfortable. All that kind of stuff. So, what are the top 3 pants in your store that I'm talking about?
So Brax is going to be 1 that's out of Germany, and I got those on. Peter Millar's is going to be 2. And then, 3, we've always got 3 or 4 different vendors. But the thing about the 5-pocket is that there's so many different fabrics that they make them in. So like today's, I've got some linen and cotton ones on. Mm-hmm. And then you have the other ones that are all cotton, and you have some that have stretch and some that are all performance. So truly, it's a fabric-generated thing. It kind of, you're more of a performance guy because you're always in a car moving around, going to see different things. I like more cotton than I like performance.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Sure.
But it's all about the fit. And if the fit's the right way, you can get the fabric to match it.
True.
And we just think Brax, there's a lot of
those are great looking pants.
a lot of good things come out of Germany, cars, whatever.
Sure.
But they have figured out a way to make the pant fit the right way on a male's body.
That's true.
So years ago, this is
because it was Lee jeans in 1982, and you just had to figure out how to fit.
So a lot of people used to make pants.
block.
Used to make pants where the male anatomy with the waist was like this.
Yeah.
Well, our waist doesn't sit like this. Our waist sits like this.
Right.
And so they build a pant that's like this versus you don't pull your pants up to your navel anymore.
No, and that's why they look so much. They feel and look better.
They look better. They feel better, and so they've figured out a way to make the pant fit a male's body better.
Okay. Brax pants at the Rogue Men's Store. Luke just renovated his store, and it's now in the front of the Rogue building on I-55 North and Frontage Road, just south of Bravo. But you really can't miss it because it's elevated and cool looking and exposed brick. Let's, how much time do we have?
5-ish.
Oh, well, we got time. Luke Abney with the Rogue. Oh, you got your big party Thursday.
We do.
10 a.m. to 6.
10 to 6, yep.
All kinds of vendors there.
Yep.
You're celebrating the newly renovated store, moving up front. Spring Street Cigars will be open in like 5, 6, 7 weeks.
Can't wait.
They took the 3 stories behind you and to the side of Nukes.
That's correct. So our old sunroom will be their new entrance. And the other thing that's going to be really cool is that they're going to have a 2,000 square foot roof deck on top of our second floor.
Jeez.
It's going to be great. So, all right. So you got all 3 floors for Spring Street Cigars. You got a bar on the first floor, got a huge humidor on the second, and smoking area.
Mm-hmm.
And smoking area inside on the 3rd floor, but then the rooftop deck bar.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, was up there yesterday. The weather's great. The view's pretty cool, but it's going to be nothing really like it in our area. Of what he's doing in the first 3 floors, the second floor roof deck is going to be cool. We're really excited about that.
I am too. May.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's the sooner the better.
I'm going up to hang out with
The sooner the better.
with John tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Zeno Davidoff dinner up in North Mississippi. It's going to be a good time.
We need to get you like in a 3-piece suit.
There you go.
We need to get.
Let me tell you, the president.
We need to get the Buzz Williams look on Bo.
There we
Just,
go.
the real
Buzz
tight-
Williams dresses well.
Yeah, he and Mick Cronin. I know you
Mick's
made
a
fun
big
of
one.
Mick about whatever he said.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I recognize that he dresses well and he can coach
But I mean, Mick.
like a son of a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can go both ways. I mean, I mean, cussing doesn't bother me. I was just blown away with how much he did.
Right, but the message delivered in a 3-piece suit reminds you of like The Godfather.
Absolutely.
I mean, Pacino.
It's like Patino.
Yeah, it looks like that. I thought I was thinking Al Pacino from Scarface.
No question.
Same guy.
But same deal. But yeah.
Man, Patino's always looked like $1 million.
And I'm very happy that Cal, that Arkansas moved on. But
Yeah.
just got to think if Patino moved on this week, he might have unveiled the white suit.
I know.
The white, or if he got to San Antonio, the white suit was coming out.
Ooh-wee.
They didn't have any shooters, but he did a hell of a job at St. John's. I hate that they lost to Cal. I was rooting for St. John's.
Sure.
I can't root against Patino, and it's a great comeback story, and lots of different moving parts there. Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 against Michigan State. This is incredible. I mean, this doesn't happen often in
First
the state
one
of
to
Mississippi.
50 wins, maybe.
I think it's a great point, Luke, because the way that Beard and Adams like to roll, and the way that Izzo likes to roll, Ole Miss doesn't turn the ball over much. Sparty doesn't turn the ball over much. Now, Ole Miss shot 58% from the floor and 58% from three-point land.
Ain't happening again.
That is unbelievable. Talking about getting hot at the right time. When Malik Dia went baseline and threw that shot up and it went in, I went, it's curtains. It's over.
Providence Friars from like circa 1980, whatever
87,
it was.
I was at that Final Four in New
Just
Orleans.
kept shooting it.
Yeah. Yeah. But when Dia and Murray and Brakefield all shoot 60%, some shot better than that, then you're going to win the game.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You could be you could be the St. Joe whatever's next door, and they shoot 60%, they're going to win.
Percent from the floor in the three-point line.
Ridiculous.
All right, one more time. Thursday at the Rogue. Put this down. It's newly renovated, totally new store, but in the same building. Okay, you see it on I-55 Frontage Road. It's just south of Bravo and Howland Village. Luke and them moved the store all the way up to the front, so right when you walk in the Rogue, and it's lighted. It's got space, and you can see shirts and Brax pants and everything going on right when you walk in. And then Spring Street Cigars will be open in the next month or so.
And we look forward to doing this collab with you on our best dressed coaches poll or best dressed coaches bracket. And we'll do that every day with some kind of a feature on, roll out the 5 versus. I think today's we're going to roll out the Nate Oates versus, is it Nate versus Dennis Gates? So we're going to have the Nate versus Gates. And we'll put some pictures up and share that with you guys and have everybody vote on that or comment, which ought to be fun. And then the winner moves on to face
Mick Cronin.
Mick Cronin. That'll be tough.
But I tell you, the Hubert Davis and James Jones, who face Rick Pitino, that's going to be tough because Hubert Davis looks good. That guy can dress.
And two things
So
real
can
quick. We
Pitino.
do have a little local influence in there. So, Chris Holtman.
Yeah.
So John Michael's brother, who's at DePaul.
Okay.
So Chris is in there as 11 seed. And I polled a good friend of mine who coaches in high school basketball. And I said, who's the best dressed high school basketball coach there? He said, Michael McAnally at Prep. He goes, he always wears a coat. He always wears a nice shirt. It's not a quarter zip. It's not tennis shoes. It's not a hat. And so Mac is in the deal.
McAnally's in. Go see Luke and the Rogue Thursday. They're celebrating their newly renovated store, I-55 North Frontage Road. And we'll see you tomorrow.